Alright guys, welcome back to the hatchery. I'm Gabe Posada. This is the tutorial that I wanted to show you guys on how to build your own system. Okay, here we've taken 12 20-gallon tanks. Obviously I had nothing to do with the rack because I'm not good. I have two left hands when it comes to construction over here. But the rack was made out of aluminum and it was designed specifically for the 20 gallons. We had just enough space here because we're running out of space in the hatchery. The basic thing with these systems is you've got a circulating water system. And a circulating water system, basically what it is, it's a system that's draining from the tank into a filtration system, and then that water gets picked up and brought back up, so it's constantly circulating. Now, the way that we do it is we drill out the tanks. And I know guys that drill them on the back. I know guys, I personally love to drill them on the bottom. We're going to show you how to drill the holes. We've got videos on that already. I use a specific drill for cutting glass. Some guys will just buy the diamond blades and hold their drills and use that to drill their own tanks. The problem with that is that if you go off kilter by a little bit and it's not the same as a press, you can crack your tank, crack the glass. It's very, very easy. I'm telling you, I've got a PhD in tank cracking. But once you get the proper tools, then it's very simple. All right, basically what we've done is we put a bulkhead fitting here, which I'm going to show you later in the tutorial how to do it. And what it is once you've opened up your hole, you need something to put through. It's called a bulkhead fitting. Into the bulkhead fitting goes the drain that comes down, and then you could put also a stem pipe. Now they come in 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1.5 inches, whatever size you want. For a 20-gallon tank, 3/4 is more than enough. So basically you get to see the idea that water is going in, but at the same time it's going over. Now, we use these filters so that the babies don't get sucked down the overflow. You have to take that into consideration because remember, it's an open hole, so they will disappear. They sense the water running and they go right down it, and then what's going to end up happening is all your babies are going to end up in the filter dead. So you want to put something on there, some kind of mesh or something where you're going to be able to control them from going down. We use this irrigation pipe, which is perfect. We use it in our breeding sections, and the whole 9 yards is identical. Everything is identical the same way. Now, you need a filter, a wet-dry filter, or some type of sump filter that's going to have all your biological media. You need a pump to return everything. And then I want to show you that basically, so you get an idea, you have your drain underneath, which goes back to the sump underneath, and then you have all your returns. And the way that we do the returns is we use 3/4 inch ball valves, which is basically the cheapest way of doing it, and then we put a venturi on them so that as the water is trickling in, it's actually creating oxygen, which is a must when you have these many babies all stuck in a system, or in any system for that purpose. So basically it's a constant circulating system. Now, what we did on this particular system to make it simple, let's say God forbid one of the tanks cracks. Well, it's very simple. We drill another hole in a brand new tank, and we've got these unions that come off. So I can literally unscrew this whole tank comes out, and I can put the new tank in where this one was and screw it back in, and the system's going. This is a little bit more expensive. It's easier to maintain. Not sure you're ever going to crack that many tanks, so I'm not sure if you need it. Some guys go rigid. Some guys use vinyl tubing. And here at the hatchery, we've done all three systems. And I'm going to show you all these systems so you get an idea of how to do it yourself. Once you figure out the principles of water going in and water going out, then it becomes very easy. And most people tell me, well, why don't they overrun? And again, they don't overrun because whatever amount of water you're putting in is going down the drain constantly. So you've got a constant rotation of water. And we're going to take you to the breeding section now to show you it's the same principle. It doesn't have to be 12 tanks, it could be 300 tanks. Okay. Here we have the breeding section, and you can see that it's basically the same. Now we have more space to be able to show you. This is the return pipe where the water is coming back already filtered from the filter. Okay, we have a giant wet dry on this system. And as the water comes in, and I'm going to take the venturi off so you can see it. There's the water going in from the pumps. okay? And as it's going in, it's automatically pushing the old water out, and it's going down the drain in the back. Now we've got them all covered here, obviously, because this is the breeding section and the babies will get sucked right in, okay? But there is a drain right here. Now, you can see that here on the top layer, instead of going the expensive way with the couplings, we went with regular vinyl tubing. And this is 3/4 inch. You can see the nipples going straight into the return pipe, okay? And then you've got the bulkhead fitting coming down, and you can see where this is draining into one giant pipe. This pipe, there's one on the top tier and there's one on the bottom tier, and they're both heading in the same direction. And what they end up doing is they empty out into a giant sump, which is nothing more than a 150-gallon tank. You can see the bubbles coming in. There's a pump over on the left-hand side, which is now taking all that water that's accumulating in here and pushing it through the giant biological tower. Now on this one, it's a wet dry that's on top. And it's like an air station, basically. More air is going in through here. And so it's aerating the water, and it's also removing the ammonia. It's coming down once again, and then there's a second pump that picks it up. Now this is the giant system. You don't need this many pumps on a normal little system. But there's a giant pump that does 6,000 gallons an hour that's now providing all the water that you see running in all 78 tanks. And this is a second system. And now we're going to show you the one with the wet dry. Basically, this is the wet dry that we have in that small system up front, and we also have in the back where we keep the tetras and the rams. Same principle. Water is going over the overflows on all the tanks and coming down into the wet dry. Now we have felt on top to collect all the debris, and you can see some of the debris in there, which is creating brown spots on top of the white felt. Okay? As the water trickles through, it becomes oxygenated, and also there's bacteria in here which is converting the ammonia. And you need that. All right? From here, it goes straight back with a pump and it shoots it back into the systems. Now, whenever we do water changes in any of the systems, if you look inside the sumps, you'll notice there's a float valve, much like your toilet. So basically, when we start draining in the tanks, when we start siphoning out all the poop and uneaten food, these systems, the water level will start to go down. And as the flow valve goes down, it automatically starts to fill. You can hear the pumps turning on behind me. It automatically starts to fill. You see the water level coming up. So it's an automatic system that you set up. You take water out of the tanks and the sump will fill up the tanks again. That's something you guys should consider so that you don't have to be shutting off the pump while you're doing your water changes and then having to turn it back on or filling up tank by tank. This whole system will fill everything up automatically for you. And believe you me, this system saves us a lot of time because every single tank that we have in the hatchery, you'll notice, has its own float valve, even if they're not on a central system. And what ends up happening is once we do our water changes, the system will automatically fill them up for us, and that saves us a lot of time, and that's what we want you guys to do, is save time. So I hope this tutorial was good for you guys, and if you have any questions, please send them to us. We'll be happy to reply. And once again, thank you for coming and joining us at the Discus Hatchery.